Hi, I'm Spencer Rainey, and today I'm going to discuss the difference between freedom and liberty. Freedom versus liberty, two words that are often misused. Freedom is an individualistic concept without consequence. In layman terms, do whatever, wherever, whenever. Liberty is the moral backbone of freedom. Liberty is what allows everyone to experience freedom to some extent. Most, if not all of us, will never experience true freedom because it's unrealistic in the world we live in now. Freedom is an unrestrained, individual, desire driven concept. In order for freedom to exist within communities or countries, liberty must first be established. Robert Royal explained in his article, Who Put the West in Western Civilization, that our concept of liberty is derived from the Greeks. The Greeks defined liberty as, and I quote, the virtue of self-control that makes us fit to rule and to obey the rule of law. Order in the souls answers to order in the world. End quote. Governments give out liberties so as not to impede on our freedoms. Liberty is a cultivated concept put forth from moral values and designed to defend our freedoms, as long as they only affect the individual. Slander is an example where it's speech, but it's illegal. Freedom of speech only exists within the boundaries of liberty of speech. Lying publicly about another person is morally unacceptable because it causes harm to another, thus impeding on the other person's liberties. According to Augusto Zimmermann, King Ethelbert introduced the first Anglo-Saxon code of law during the 6th century. His code of law can be traced to the Christian law in England and has later evolved into part of the United States Constitution. King Ethelbert prohibited theft, adultery, and murder, following his newfound Christian beliefs. Through his desire to prevent these acts, he created liberty for those under his rule. Although they may not have called it liberty at the time, he created liberty of property, liberty of life, and it started in the 6th century with the Anglo-Saxons. The Bill of Rights is today's newest form of these same liberties and more. These moral codes to live by always allows all of those under the same governing body to experience freedom. Without liberty guidelines or laws, as they are today, it would be near impossible for large numbers of diverse individuals to experience the same level of freedom. Freedom is a given natural right that we're born with. However, liberty is needed to set moral guidelines to allow everyone a sense of freedom. Self-regulation and freedom is necessary for the success of any community. The expansion of today's technologies seems to be welding the terms freedom and liberty together, especially over recent years. Moral values are somewhat of a gray area with our younger generation specifically. But there should be no question of if you have the freedom to do something. You were born, you have the freedom. However, do you have the liberty? How do your actions affect other people's freedoms? That's what we should be asking. Without liberty, freedom would be up for grabs by the strongest, wealthiest groups or individuals. It would open the door for dictatorship and reverse the effects of our Constitution and the goals of our founding fathers.